Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Discovering Dawson's Creek. Back to Cape Side on Morgan Hasn't Seen TV here on the It's a Wonderful Podcast YouTube channel. Jeannine, we are in the middle. Well, we've got 2 episodes that have fallen in the middle on this week's episode of Discovering Dawson's Creek. In between To Green with Love last time out, which was obviously a big barnstorming sort of episode, and 2 episodes that we've got coming after this that have been teased to me for some time, and I am led to believe are particularly strong episodes, not only of the season of Dawson's Creek, but of the whole run of Dawson's Creek in its entirety. So, you referring to our 2 episodes today, episodes 17 and 18 of season 3 of Dawson's Creek, as lesser episodes, filler episodes we want to forget about, I think does them a disservice, because I don't think they're bad episodes.
No, I don't think these are bad episodes. It's just they preface some of my favorite episodes of the season and kind of a culmination of things that have been built up in this portion of the season. So yeah, I mean, we're getting a lot of AJ and we're getting a lot of little kid Buzz. So I mean, those kind of already take it down a few notches for me generally, but they just feel like a means to an end, like episode. It's like okay, just kind of slog through these 2 and then we're gonna get to the good stuff kind of energy these episodes always give me. So
I don't necessarily disagree with that, to be honest with you, because I have some thoughts on how AJ's handled in these particular episodes as well, and really how he's kind of been handled as a character type for his entire time on the show. And I mean, this Buzz kid is a slightly odd addition to Dawson's Creek as well, because he feels like one of those sitcom characters where they just bring in some useless cousin who nobody likes to spice things up, when really you should have probably just ended your show at its peak.
Exactly, because it was, you know, that was always a thing to kind of bring in new, younger viewers, because if you had a show with plucky little kids and those plucky little kids started growing up, we would have to bring in a new kid for the kids.
We don't need that here, though.
On the show. Exactly. It's a teen show that teens watch. So I don't know. I mean, this ultimately plays out as Pacey's punishment for the whole mural fight, is to kind of be a big brother situation. So I guess it's just more of seeing Pacey be a cute, good guy, mentoring this kid who does have a lot of issues and things. But I guess it's meant to be maybe some comic relief, and also maybe just like a pure mirror held up to Pacey with this character who kind of is you know, asking him kind of the tough questions about the girl he likes, and so he can kind of, you know, wax poetic about his feelings unabashedly, because he kind of, you know, he has very limited people he can talk to about this. So maybe
he bottles things up out of necessity rather than out of kind of his own want, I suppose.
Yes, and then it's also kind of plays into a kind of quote-unquote obstacle when it comes time to actually tell Dawson about these feelings he's having as well. So, yeah, I guess the character's just meant to be a sounding board to see more of Pacey being kind of cute, and that's probably about it.
But here was me thinking they were developing Doug Witter into being a bit of this season. But no. Instead, they're giving it to a 9-year-old who, number one, there ain't no 9-year-olds watching Dawson's Creek anyway. So why install a fun kid character? If we're looking at it from this, we're a TV show who's installing a fun kid character for viewership reasons. And I don't think that's why they're doing it, because I don't think anything else relating to Dawson's Creek has been, you know, on the down slope or on the sort of, you know, we're not seeing poor quality television come out now. It doesn't need spicing up in any sort of way at all. And certainly not in this way. Is it just a case of, oh, here's a fairly popular child actor of the time
Yes,
in
that
Jonathan
also
Lipnicki,
yes,
and
he
let's
was
put him in
huge.
our show.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that also was a huge factor. He's just come off of, this fame from Jerry Maguire. He was kind of the most memorable, adorable part of that film. So maybe, oh, if
Yeah.
we can get this kid, and bank off this, Oscar nominated movie and all of this stuff, then yeah, maybe that can just be bankable for Dawson's Creek having this kid. So yeah, it was
But
kind of
does
a
it need
weird
hype?
choice. I don't really think it needs it, but he's here, he's there, so you guys kinda
We have
gotta
to deal
work
with
with it,
him.
I guess. Yeah.
I mean, he's not necessarily Scrappy-Doo levels of annoying, is he? But
No, no,
he's
and he does have kind of a bit of a hard story as well. Um, so,
yeah.
so that's where Pacey kind of comes in to be that support system. So again, something else that just makes Pacey look really good. Um,
Wait, I
but,
mean, he does, definitely. It makes him
yes.
very, very patient and very, mature, I suppose, in comparison.
Yes. Yes, and, we're also gonna be getting a kind of useless character who has a purpose in the next 2 episodes, which I mentioned. They kind of just throw in a character next week where, he was gonna be a part of a spin-off show, and so they kind of try to pepper him
Why?
in they try to pepper him into these next 2 episodes um to develop this spin-off show they were doing called Young Americans. So, yeah, so
Why do
so
we need a
we're
Why do we
getting
need the Dawson's Creek spin-off show? With the Dawson's Creek shared universe. We don't need that, do we? Surely to
yeah.
God.
Well, do you ever recall anything about a show called Young Americans? No. So
Not
that should
at
tell you
all,
everything you need to
no.
know. But in terms of you kind of talking about Doug also has a moment, he's here, he's also giving Pacey some really solid advice as well. So I like what we've been seeing in these past few episodes with the Doug Pacey relationship, because we saw in season 1 how antagonistic and terrible. I mean, he pulled a
Yeah.
gun on Pacey at a certain
Yes,
point.
he did.
Um, and so I like that we're kind of getting a much more developed relationship between the two. Doug is really doing his due diligence as big brother and giving Pacey some solid advice and support, because he doesn't really have anybody to kind of talk to about it. So yeah, at least Pacey gets some sounding boards here with Buzz and with Doug. So I appreciate
Yeah.
him being able to kind of bounce, and even kind of Jen here and there, who's kind of read the situation, has kind of been there for Pacey a little bit, and now we get to see her be there for Joey. And also that's a relationship that I've loved kind of seeing develop since, from where it started in season 1, this kind of antagonistic thing too with the two of them. And
Very
so this is kind of
antagonistic.
yes, so it's been really great in these episodes to see Jen really offer her support and understanding to Joey, who also doesn't really have anyone to talk to about it. She tries to talk to Bessie, and Bessie's like, I can't really help you, kind of thing, basically. So
Which I do
yeah.
find strange that Bessie's just like, I can't really help you with this at all. I mean, you actually, I think you can, Bessie,
Yeah, right?
to at least some sort of small degree.
Yeah, so I think it was just meant to
You
kind of
maybe don't want
force.
to.
Yeah, so I think it was just kind of forced her to kind of talk to Jen about it, and develop
And
that
give Jen
relationship.
something to do again, because Jen
Yes.
hadn't been doing much at all. They even make comment on it, I think, in this first episode. We're talking about, Cinderella Story, it's called. We'll get
Yeah.
the binder out very shortly.
Yes. Yes.
Um, but they literally make comment on, oh, Jen, it's been a long
You're
time
still
since
here
we've seen you around here. Hello, stranger. And Jen says something like, oh, yeah, I've just been spending all my time with
with
Henry.
Henry. Yes, they
Why have
really
you been
kind of
spending all your time with Henry? Especially when Henry does what Henry does in this
yeah.
episode as well. And he's a weird person. I mean, he's a weird person in real life now these days as well. So
Yeah.
he's a
Mm.
weird person in the show, let me tell you that. I'm becoming uncomfortable with Henry as
Oh
a
god.
character, to be honest with you. But get the binder out,
Oh,
Jeannine, because
all right.
episode
All right.
17 of season 3.
Yes. Yes. So we have episode 317, Cinderella Story. Jonathan Lipnicki guest stars. When Joey
Ah!
yes, big bolded text on this. When Joey turns to Pacey for rescuing after she flees Boston halfway through her visit with AJ, the two old friends may finally confront their growing feelings for each other. Meanwhile, to avoid suspicion, Pacey becomes a mentor to a young boy, or suspension, sorry.
Yes.
To avoid suspension, Pacey becomes a mentor to a young boy, guest star Jonathan Lipnicki. And then they, of course, list his credits as Stuart Little, Jerry Maguire.
Stuart Little, of course, yes.
And
Very good.
yes. He must mentor a young boy and must contend with a little version of himself with a big attitude. And behind Gail's back, Dawson asks Mitch to help with the opening of her new restaurant.
I think it might be worth actually talking about Dawson, Mitch, and Gail first, because
Okay.
Dawson is so secondary at the moment in his own
Yeah.
show.
Yes.
He's just dealing with his own storylines.
Yeah.
And his
So
own
not just
parents.
Jen. Yeah.
He's got
Both Dawson and
nothing
Jen
to
have
do,
kind of.
nothing to do with Pacey and Joey whatsoever. Dawson, he's just there within the
Yeah.
show at the minute.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I find it kind of funny. But also,
Yes.
like, should we really be mad at this particular storyline? Like, why wouldn't he invite Mitch there to help out when
Yeah.
Gail needs the help at the
And he
restaurant because Mitch
knows, 'cause
actively wants to do it and Gail's just too proud? And I don't really like that attitude.
yeah, I mean, I think she's still feeling quite a bit of hurt maybe. But I also kind of, for how Mitch handled the situation, him kind of pushing and pulling and giving her hope and then pulling it away and that whole kind of
I mean, yes,
thing.
we didn't like that
Um,
either, but
and that
still.
ultimately leading to them getting a divorce. So, um, yeah, I could see her kind of wanting to do this on her own, so I get that. But also, you keep, like Dawson says, like I get those moments when Dawson feels confused by this because they keep kind of assuring him, "Oh, we're fine, we're friends, everything's good." So I like when Dawson kind of asks his dad for help. I understand a bit of her pride, but I appreciate Dawson's kind of clap back to her in terms of like,
Yeah.
you're telling me you guys are friends, so why wouldn't you want your friend to help you? Like, I don't understand.
Why is it such a
And
problem? Just say
exactly.
you're not friends. Say you actively don't like each other
Yeah.
because you know what? That's fine.
I would
Whatever.
rather
But at
just
least
have you
it's
guys.
clear.
Exactly. I'd rather you guys just, be transparent with me than kind of trying to, tiptoe and play these games. So I do like that he kind of sets her straight on that. And ultimately she does kind of come around and let Mitch help. And
Yeah.
she hires him to be the general manager. And we work out a whole deal with Bodie as well to be a partner in the business.
Yes.
So that also helps out Joey, which is nice in her family situation. Um,
And
so
because it's Cape Side and everybody knows each other and it's the world's smallest community, everybody owns the
exactly.
same business.
Yes, right?
Or everybody's involved in the same
Same
thing. And the
businesses, yes.
restaurant
Yeah.
helps the bed and breakfast, and the bed and breakfast helps the restaurant,
Yes.
and then
Oh,
somebody
that
will own some sort of independent bookshop somewhere down the line, and they will all be in a
yeah,
whole big
connected.
intermingling business
Well,
situation.
there actually is going to be an upcoming episode that plays into this business situation and some complications. So that's kind
Of
of
course
funny
there
that you
is.
say that. Um, but yes, that'll actually come into play later. But yeah, just Gail trying to figure everything out, find a chef, get a name for the place, hire staff. She hires Jen, so we get Jen doing a little bit of something. She's hired as a waitress, but she's spilling things and dropping stuff and not doing a very good job. So ultimately, the decision they come to is to have her be the hostess at the restaurant.
Yes, I mean, it
So
really is
yeah,
poor everybody else in Dawson's Creek at the minute because
yeah.
Joshua Jackson and Katie Holmes are taking up
Oh, the
all the
whole,
time and energy of
and
the
that's kind of what
entire
we
show.
want, though, right? I
It
mean,
is what we want. It is definitely what we want. We're not mad at it, but
it's just
they're not
funny.
doing. It's just funny, and I just don't think I don't mind it, obviously. I'm enjoying
Yeah.
it. It's not a massive negative or anything like that. But
No.
I don't think they're balancing everybody well at the minute at all.
No,
And
no,
I feel
no.
like they were doing that for quite a long time.
Yes, even if a storyline kind of took priority over everything else, there was still kind of a balance because there were episodes where there might have been something big going on between Dawson and Joey, but we were still giving a ton of time to like a Mitch and Gail storyline, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
But this
We're
here, it's
just
like
not
everyone's
doing that anymore. It's just
no,
every
everyone's
scene's got Joshua Jackson in, and that's just
yes.
what's happening.
Yes, everyone's kinda getting fluff, and the substance is all with the Pacey and Joey situation. So, yeah, that's kind of what we're dealing with Mitch and Gail. She's kind of messing up with the restaurant, asking Dawson to help her. He doesn't know what he's doing. He calls in Mitch behind her back. She's a little too proud to accept his help and gets upset. Dawson tells her, "Why are you upset?" He knows what he's doing. You guys are friends. She ultimately kind of realizes, "Yeah, you're right. I was being too proud." Hires Mitch as her general manager, and now
Yeah.
things are pretty much running smoothly. They've named the place Leary's Fresh Fish, and they're on track to have a nice family restaurant. So that's great.
Yeah, good seafood in that part of the world as well, isn't it? So,
Yes, yes, yeah.
yeah, I
So,
hope they're serving good seafood. They don't want to be serving bad seafood at
oh no,
Leary's
definitely
fresh fish.
not.
Leary's
No,
rotten fish. They don't want to be calling it that, do they? I can
yeah,
see the
I would hope
newspaper
not.
headlines now.
Oh
They
no,
should hire that guy who they hired, who they got in to do the bed and breakfast review. They should get him.
yeah, and have him come and review Leary's Fresh Fish and make sure the fish is fresh. I mean, it's in the name; it's got to be fresh, but yeah, so that all gets kind of worked out pretty nicely. And then yeah, we kind of are with Pacey who takes on this big brothership with
Yep.
Buzz, played by guest star Jonathan Lipnicki. And he's kind of a brat and he doesn't want to listen to Pacey. And so yeah, I think it is trying to play it as like this mirror that this is a younger version of Pacey. And so they kind of have this back and forth attitude. They kind of get into it
I
and to the point where
I
Pacey
think.
kind of is done with him. And then
Oh
of
yeah.
course we get the dramatic reveal of what usually happens with this kid that he rejects people to see if they'll come back to him because he's used to rejection because his mom is never around and his father's
Yeah.
not in the picture and all this kind of thing. So yeah, we get kind of this tragic story with this kid. I think he says his dad is dead, but his dad like left him for like another and started a new family kind of situation, I believe it is.
It's very sad.
So
It's actively
yeah.
very, very sad. It's just
Yes.
structured rather archetypically, I think, isn't it? It's
Yes,
structured
yes.
rather
It feels like a sitcom.
obviously as a it does.
Yeah.
It's structured rather obviously as a storyline, I think. I'm not overly sure how great. I don't want to condemn child actors too much. Obviously, the man's not a child anymore, but I'm not sure how great Lipnicki was at being a bratty kid as opposed to a cute kid. Like he was
Oh,
very
yeah.
good at being cute kid,
Yeah,
but he
mhm.
wasn't like Macaulay Culkin who could be a bratty kid, you
Yeah,
know.
that's true, and cute as well,
Um,
he could do both.
and cute as well, sure, but
Yeah,
there was no really kind of sarcastic cheekiness or anything like
yeah,
that to Lipnicki. He was always just very pure of heart
yeah,
and with the biggest smile and the cutest, big glasses on and things like
yeah,
that. It was just that was his style
yeah,
of role.
yeah,
Um, and it does feel a little bit like him trying to do a Macaulay Culkin. At which point,
yeah,
obviously,
I could see that.
Culkin was far too old at this point to be doing this sort of role, but um,
Yeah,
and probably probably quite in a bad way in his life, maybe in
yeah, maybe that was kind of the rough
2001-ish.
point. Yeah,
Maybe not quite there yet, but still, that's beside the point.
yeah,
Really, he's not bad though. He's not overly annoying. I
no.
appreciate the depth they give the character, even though it's a
Mhm,
little stereotypical. and at least his scenes with Pacey do feel genuine. They do feel like it doesn't feel like. I think that's a good thing about Lipnicki, to be fair. You know, when he was that age acting, Dakota Fanning, like, he never really felt like a kid. You know, he was quite well spoken and quite kind of eloquent in his speech and the way he would articulate things, which helps a lot of the time with child acting. I think when you're able to do that. So him and Joshua Jackson genuinely seem to have a good back and forth, I think, in their scenes, and I like that.
Yeah, so they kind of do butt heads quite a bit, and then when he goes to the big brother big sister place and says, hey, he was about, I think he's about to say, like, I can't do this kid's crazy, like, give me another kid. The lady, of course, you know, as you said, very sitcom-y, very kind of typically structured, tells him his whole story about him pushing people away, his mother never being around, and that's kind of what he does to test people in his life and this kind of thing. So then Pacey tries to play it off, oh no, I wasn't going to switch kids, I was just going to see if I could pick him up early tomorrow. So he's not kind of quitting on this kid. So of course, Pacey, wonderful Pacey. And then he goes to his house because his mom's working late to help him make dinner, and he makes a meatloaf with him. So we get this kind of bonding kind of thing. So that's really nice. Then we kind of shift to the kind of big situation in this episode, which is Joey. She's super excited to have this weekend with AJ, maybe thinking it might
fancy
lead to
dinner, fancy like ball, isn't it?
Yes, he's going to be in this room with all these acclaimed people reading this poem. He's been invited to read one of his poems. And she's his date, so she gets to dress up and be fancy and, you know, really kind of looking for this great weekend of romance, kind of is how she's feeling. She's really excited. Pacey obviously kind of letting a bit of his jealousy creep through, but trying to play it off as jokes. So he's dropping her off at the train station. And yeah, they've kind of developed this rapport. So he's you know, he's making it known that, like, he doesn't know how he feels about this, but he's trying to, of course, just make it all light and jokey.
I mean, I think at this point, if Joey had any sense whatsoever, she'd be recognizing some change in Pacey. You know, like the rest of us watching it can.
Yes, or the change.
What happens at the end of the very end of this episode, it shouldn't take what happens at the very end of this episode for her to realize something is a bit amiss with Pacey's relationship towards me at the moment. But it seems to take all this time. And I don't like that it takes all this time.
Well, for obviously TV purposes, but also I think she's kind of not allowing herself to even think that because of her outburst that we see at the beginning of the next episode. She knows what this will mean if she allows herself to even play into these feelings that she could be having. So I think she's trying to ignore them and just focus on AJ because it's easier, kind of thing.
Well, when we start talking about this, the next episode, because it starts immediately as you know this episode ends. We'll get on to questioning why the entire world will break down if things are followed through, because it's our little universe will deteriorate. Fragile little universe will just explode into 3 million pieces, if anything. Why will it? Why will it implode into 3 million pieces, Joey? Why? It won't. It will all be fine. And if it's not fine, then it should be fine. Like, why is anybody got anybody? We know who I mean when I say anybody. In fact, I've ranted and raved about it now, so I'm going to rant and rave about it now.
The show will tell you.
Why?
The show will tell you the why. You'll get there.
Okay, the show will tell me the why, but I'm questioning at the moment why.
Right now.
Because we know it's Dawson. We know Dawson's the issue here. But why is Dawson the issue here? Dawson's got no say in anything anymore. Let's all remind ourselves of the last season again. and it being this, I don't ever want to know you anymore. You did this terrible
Yes.
thing. Poor Mike Potter's still back in prison or wherever he is now.
Yeah,
And
Pacey, look out
that's
for
all
Joey because
has
I
been
can't be
tried.
a friend to
Pacey,
her
look
right
out for
now.
Joey. So why on earth would Dawson have any argument? I mean, he would have an argument. He would come in all guns blazing, as I'm sure we're going to expect some sort of all guns blazing nonsense to happen. I'm anticipating that. But he has absolutely no right to be doing that at all.
Yes,
Joey,
so I did.
realise this, please. Realise he has no right to be doing this at all, and follow through with what you actually think. For God's sake.
Yes. So I do think it's more her
I've
just
finished now. That's me done.
I appreciate your I always appreciate a good Dawson rant in these episodes.
It's not even a
Because
Dawson. It's a Joey rant. It's not even a Dawson rant.
I mean, that's very true. But I do appreciate you ranting in general because it means you're excited about what's happening on this show and you're getting into
Yes.
the hype that I've had for all of these decades. So, yeah, I think it's more a case of Joey not allowing herself to even kind of veer down that path until she's forced to at the end of this episode. So she does go to this whole thing, she goes to the college and she's getting ready with AJ, but then she meets, she's greeted by a girl who
Yes.
she's greeted by AJ's Dawson, essentially.
Essentially, yes. AJ's Dawson. And what is AJ's Dawson's name? Morgan, which I found hilarious.
Yeah.
Because who better to ruin things in Dawson's Creek than somebody named Morgan? I will take Morgan off of Dawson's Creek on board as honorary
Yes.
Great Morgan of the world, and applaud her for ruining the entire vibe of the show. No.
Yes.
For doing what she does, for acting as the character she acts like, because of course she exists. Of course she exists. Of course AJ has a Dawson, just like
Yes.
you, Joey, have a Dawson.
Yes.
Of course this happens, and it completely spoils the character of AJ, I think.
Yeah.
What has been the point of all this time with AJ, if at the end of this episode, which we do get at the end of this episode, this whole you don't belong with me, AJ, you belong with Morgan, because Morgan's the one who knows you the best. I have this situation myself, obviously, as we all know.
Yeah.
Dawson's back home. Not that she ever says that to AJ, but
No, but she
it's okay, AJ.
recognizes it.
I forgive you. He's not done anything wrong. Why is she coming at this like it's okay?
Well, because she can
I mean,
tell.
okay, he doesn't tell. Yes, okay, he doesn't tell her about Morgan, but okay, which is okay, maybe a bit suspicious.
Yeah.
And especially when he does start reading his poem,
Reading
and it's
the
quite
poem.
obviously about her. Yes, okay, and he looks at her and he gives her a nice, loving look and does make Joey feel terrible. And now that I'm saying it out loud, it is actually quite terrible.
Yeah,
AJ,
and he
why
looks
are you
very
doing this?
guilty. And she even
He
calls
does.
out the kind of guilty look that he has. And she's like, yeah, you look guilty. You're being quiet. Like, I know there's something there. And he's kind of half-assed trying to explain it, but also kind of coming to the realization himself all in the same moment. So,
Well,
yeah, it's a
exactly. I
lot.
mean, but the whole point of his storyline for however many episodes it's been now since they went to that, went
College
on the
tour.
college trip
Yeah.
earlier this season, it has literally been just a stopgap. It's been an excuse to elongate romantic proceedings. Because he was never going to go anywhere. It's not like he even actively did anything wrong. He's just got another girl who was his friend, who he clearly quite likes, and it's all actually okay because we all maturely realize that this is a situation now. Joey,
I've
have
been
no
through
ill
this.
will towards
Yeah.
you, AJ, because I know exactly what this is. And I, Joey, have no ill will towards you, Morgan, because I know exactly what this is, and it's all okay. Never to see AJ again. Bye, AJ. We're never going. You were great while you lasted, but what was the point of you?
Yeah. So that's kind of what this episode has left you feeling, this situation, just like kind of pointless a little bit. Okay, yeah, I definitely could see that. Because yeah, I mean,
And he
Morgan
annoyed me at
knows
the start
everything.
when he first came in. AJ did. He annoyed me at the very first episode when he was in, and then like the one after, he kind of softened. I softened towards him, and now he's just pointless.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. The skulls straight to video is AJ. So, I mean,
And it's all Morgan's fault, and I don't
exactly, yeah, Morgan. Yeah, because she comes in, she knows everything about him. She's suggesting poems that he should read. You know, she's talking about the ins and outs of their history and their past, and she's calling him Arthur and all of these different things. She's interrupting these intimate moments like between him and Joey, and all that kind
which
of
is quite
thing.
funny, actually. I must say,
Yeah.
because the last thing anybody would want to happen is some, especially if you're in college or what have you. And you're in your dorm room or your bedroom, and you have it in your 16 and 17 and however
Yeah.
old you are, 18, and it's all starting to get a little hot and heavy, and then your best friend just storms in
Walks
through
in,
the front
yeah,
door
with a
and says,
great
"Hey, what about
idea for
this?
you.
I have a really fun idea. Oh, was I disturbing it? Yes,
Disturbing
you
it.
were disturbing. Stop
Yes,
it."
and the moment is gone kind of thing. So, yeah, ultimately, yeah, the revelation happens that, yeah, AJ has a Dawson, essentially, somebody who knows him really well, who really cares about him. It's clear that, she feels some way about him when they kind of have ended the dinner and they're walking together, and she feels very much like a third wheel. So she kind of makes an excuse to branch off and leave, and he's kind of like, seems concerned about her, and that's kind of all he can focus on. Joey clocks it and ultimately kind of ends things and tells him,
Yeah.
yeah, you clearly have feelings for her. I think you should go explore that. Like,
Which, fair
this
play
is,
to Joey for
yeah,
coming for this level of maturity, absolutely. But what I
yeah,
wouldn't like Joey to think is that Dawson is her Dawson at the moment,
yeah,
because
no.
Dawson isn't her
It's
Dawson at the
not.
moment.
No.
Daw-
And if you're talking about somebody who seems to know you better than anybody at the moment and understand
at the
you,
moment,
like
at the
Dawson
moment.
knows her, but Dawson doesn't really understand her, I think is what the difference is between him and Pacey.
I think that's a very fair point. I would also say I think Dawson knows the past Joey,
A
and
version of
not.
her. And
I don't think Dawson knows Joey since the timeline of the start of the show.
yes.
I think Dawson knows Joey up to the age of about 14,
And
and then
Pacey
just
knows.
totally didn't know her
Yes.
after
And
that.
and yes, and only bothered to hold on to that version of her. So when new
Yeah.
things got got kind of entered into her sphere, her art and other things she wanted to do and different ways she's decided to think about things and all this stuff, he couldn't really fathom it or understand it because he only kind of kept her in this pocket. Whereas
I mean,
Pacey has taken it.
we had these concerns, didn't we, early
Mhm.
on in the show?
Yes.
I'm not a little child anymore, Dawson. I'm a woman now, and all this
Yes.
business. And
Yes.
he was refusing to accept this.
Yes, and Pacey knows her now. Pacey knows who she is, who she wants to be, and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah,
He's been paying attention to this version of her where Dawson has kind of left her in this little past pocket. So,
yeah.
yeah, I think that definitely kind of wins out. So now she's kind of like a whole day early from when she was supposed to leave. So, who does she call to come rescue her to pick her up and take her back home is Pacey. So she calls Pacey and they're talking, and you know, it's kind of this long-winded conversation, and it's very much like a please don't tell me I told you so thing. And um you know he's kind of telling her, there's only been 2 people to know me better than anyone else, and he thinks she's talking the other person is AJ, and she's like, "I'm not talking about AJ, I'm talking about you," and so then that kind of, like, clocks to him. It's like, "You're listing me as somebody who knows you well, like, why are we constantly talking? Like, I'm so tired of talking. You can't say something like that to me, that I know you better than anybody." And she keeps kind of trying to bring Dawson into it, and he's like, "We're not talking about Dawson, we're talking about you.
Shut up,
Talking
talking about
me.
Dawson. I want to think about Dawson right now.
Why am I the person you call in the middle of the night to pick you up? Like, why is it me?"
Exactly.
And she's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. Like, we're friends, and I trust you, and I tell you secrets, and I lean on you, and but why?" Like, and he keeps asking, like, pressing her, "Why? Why am I suddenly this person to you? Like, what does that mean?"
And she won't
I'm
answer him properly.
tired of talking. And she's like, we're friends. Like, she just keeps saying we're friends. And so he pulls over the car and they get out and he's like, "Just tell me, I don't understand. Why am I this person to you?" Essentially. And she kind of can't answer the question. And he's like, "I don't want to talk anymore." And that's like a big Dawson's Creek kind of moment. That's like, don't you just get tired of talking? It's kind of a big Dawson's Creek moment in the
I know.
pantheon
I
of the
get
show.
tired
So
of.
just to
I'm not.
make you
I'm not
aware.
surprised they get tired of talking. To be honest with you, I'm really not surprised they get tired of talking. The amount of talking they do, the amount of remarkably deep emotional conversation that
Yes.
goes on with tremendous articulation and elocution and eloquence.
Yes, it's a
I
lot.
suppose
It's a lot of the big words.
absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Just for God's sake, just kiss each other, which is what
Exactly.
happens.
Yes.
And then the episode ends.
Yeah, so it's the
Immediately.
"Don't you just get tired of talking." He grabs her, he kisses her, and then we kind of just fade out into the end of the episode. So we get
And I audibly went, "Ooh," at the end of this episode as well. I did. I made that noise.
I love that. So what were your
And I was
thoughts?
disappointed.
Before getting into the next one,
before
what
the
were your
next
thoughts? Before we jump into that, what were your thoughts after your ooh?
Yes, I mean, I've already had a rant about the start of the next episode anyway, so I suppose that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
But my thoughts on this were, oh, okay, we're finally getting somewhere. Yes, okay, good, right. All the AJ stuff, useless, pointless. The rest of the episode, Dawson, Jen and Henry stuff, and we haven't even spoken about that at all, have we? Jen going to Henry's birthday party.
Well, that's all in this
not
next
being
episode,
invited.
I believe.
Oh, is it in the next step? Oh, well, that's
Yes.
all right then.
Yes.
That was weird. We'll get into that.
Yes.
The Mitch and Gail stuff, all absolutely fine. Buzz as a character, slightly less annoying than I had maybe imagined him to be, so I'm not overly mad about that. But where we leave off, I was thinking, yes, good, okay, this is what we had believed it was all building to. Hopefully now we can go into this next episode and it'd be a bit of a an adjustment period
for a little bit longer.
a bit of an adjustment period, but maybe it's on the positive trajectory now. And then, of course, we get episode 18, season 3, Neverland. And it might as well be called Never Joey Pacey Relationship, not Neverland. Because the instant the episode starts, Joey goes, "Oh, what are you doing? You can't be doing that. Everything will die. The world will end. Hell will rise. And the demons will kill us all.
The plagues will come.
The plagues, the locusts, the hail and the thunder.
Fire and brimstone, all of that falling down.
Brimstone, and the beast of burden. And absolutely every week we'll need the Archangel Michael to save us from this absolute hellscape.
Yeah,
it is literally biblical.
She's pretty dramatic, yes. So yes, Neverland, episode 318. Yes. What's a kiss between friends?
Friends? I've had enough of it
Pacey,
now.
Pacey hopes taking Dawson to their favorite childhood camping spot will help ease the pain when he tells Dawson about his new feelings for Joey.
You
Meanwhile,
better have
Joey
tell her.
deals with the
Or tell him, sorry.
um, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, Joey deals with the emotional fallout from her kiss with Pacey by spending girls' night out with Jen and Andy. But to Jen's surprise, they stumble upon a birthday party for Henry that she wasn't invited to.
Mm. Now, the issue with Neverland is that where's Peter Pan? No, that's not the issue with Neverland. The issue with this episode is that it's all this promise of, right, okay, we must talk to other people about what's happened now. This has
Yes.
happened at the beginning, at the very beginning of the episode. We've had a little bit of an argument afterwards because how dare you do such a thing, Pacey? What are you talking about? This is wanted. I'm Pacey. I wanted to do this, and you're Joey, and you want to do this as well. You're just not accepting that you actually want to do it. And it's not a
Yeah.
creepy situation. It's not a weird
No.
situation.
No,
It's
because she does
literally-
kiss him back, and he calls her out for
She does.
kissing him back. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then she has this realization that the Book of Revelation will happen if this is allowed to continue.
Yeah.
And it's just so ridiculously overdramatic. So yes, okay, we must go and talk to other people about it. And yes,
Yeah.
we understand Pacey's idea of, going back to his and Dawson's old camping spot, an old little fort they built in the woods and everything like that, and having a nice reminisce before he drops this absolute bombshell on him.
Yeah.
Which I understand, but then he doesn't drop the bombshell on him. And why?
And I think
And
that's
this is
what
the exact
ultimately
same from Joey's perspective as well. Joey's
Yeah.
questioning, oh, I have to speak to somebody about it. Oh, well, we're in school. Why don't we have some sort of strange girls' night, which literally never happens in Dawson's Creek as
No,
well,
so we're
which they
getting
could draw attention to and is very silly. But let's go through all this and give ourselves pedicures and have conversations
I
with
mean,
each other, and it all be very nice, her, Jen and Andy. It's lovely. But then she doesn't actually say anything about anything.
I mean, she ultimately kind of opens up a little bit, but she's very still on the defense, kind of blaming Pacey, saying it's like just a hormonal balance issue that he just, kissed her out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, because that's what happens. I've forgotten about that. I've
Yeah,
forgotten about that part of being a 16-year-old. The aggressive hormonal imbalance that make you literally just go and fall in love with somebody.
yes, but she's kind of really trying to rationalize this in her mind as something trivial, that it's just Pacey being Pacey, that it has nothing to do with any deeper feelings. She's really fighting the fact that
When
there
does
could be
Pacey
real
ever
feelings
do this?
here.
When does Pacey ever do this?
Never.
Were we not Joey? Were we not witness to Pacey's relationship with Andy last season? We all
Right?
were. I was. You were.
Yes,
You
and
were as well, Joey. You were witness to this, and the genuine and the ridiculous depth of it, the emotional, scale of it.
complexity
It
and
was very,
deepness
very
of that
significant.
relationship. Yes. Because maybe you did almost get a kiss from the version that you think Pacey is in season 1, when you guys spend that whole day together doing that
Yes.
project, and he goes to kiss you, but
Yes.
you were all in love with Dawson, and so nothing happened. Maybe that's the version of Pacey you're thinking about, but this version of Pacey has grown so much. He's completely different, but it's just her being on the defensive, really. It's her not knowing the implications of a relationship between the two of them, and doing her damnedest to try to deny these feelings at any cost. So it's really her just being on the defensive this whole kind of time. The synopsis, and didn't really mention, but we also have Jack's little bit of storyline as well, I believe, in this
Well, we
episode
do,
with his dad and all
which
of
is
that. So we
good. I
can
like
also talk
a
about that.
Jack storyline.
Yeah, so let's talk about that first. Jack has invited Ethan to come stay because he thinks his dad's going to be away for the weekend on a business trip. And so he's talking to Andy about it. He's telling her, hey, I've invited Ethan over. I'm really excited. It's going to be great. Andy's like, oh, well, dad canceled his business trip to spend time with you. So, and he's like, well, you know what? He's not, he's not going to really, commit to spending time with me. My friend's still going to come and he's just going to have to deal with it kind of thing. So cut to Ethan coming. It's really having a good time. And then here's his dad kind of looming around, trying to hang out. And Jack just being very cruel to him, just like, get out of here. Like, we don't want you around. And then he's kind of expressing to Ethan, oh, like he's lurking, he's watching us. I can't stand it. And Ethan kind of, having a more maturity in this kind of realm of coming out and dealing with family and those kinds of things. Him trying to give Jack some perspective, like maybe he is genuinely trying, Jack, like maybe you should give him a chance. And him not really knowing the fullness of Jack's frustrations and issues he's had with his dad. So now Jack just feeling like he doesn't have Ethan on his side. Like he feels like
the thing is, he does have Ethan on his side, and I'm aligned to a degree with Ethan, because Ethan, Jack's dad, I forget the name of, may genuinely want to try and spend time with him, may very much genuinely want this. But when has he ever really shown this in the past? He's doing a little bit of a John Witter on us now, and it's not quite as bad.
a little bit performative. Maybe
Somewhat
genuine.
Very performative. It's not quite as bad because he's not quite as bad a person as John Witter is. Or quite as obviously cruel a person as John Witter is. But why is he doing this now? Immediately now, when he doesn't know that Jack's invited Ethan over and it's just a happenstance of poorly timed coincidence, sure.
Yeah.
But why would Jack think, oh, I can't do this then because Dad might want to hang out with me? Like, Jack's never going to think that, and that's not Jack's fault. That's Jack's dad's fault. That's the dad's fault.
And so now when he's trying
for Jack having that mentality. So I don't. I don't hate the idea of Jack's dad trying to build a relationship with him, but I 100% agree with Jack in the sense that when have you ever shown this in the past? You actively also.
How do I know how genuine this is?
Yeah, how genuine is this? You actually really don't like the fact I'm gay anyway, as much as you're trying to tiptoe around the situation. So obviously I'm going to feel some type of way when I've invited Ethan here and you're around trying to be cool when you've never had this mentality in your entire life before. Of course it's going to feel weird.
And then to Ethan, it's going to frame it like your dad's trying and you're not accepting it. So, because he's kind of newly coming into the situation, which also can be frustrating for Jack. So I think, Jack, I totally understand where Jack's coming from, but kind of seeing Ethan kind of push him into it, I get maybe a bit of Jack's frustration with that in terms of the dynamics of the situation. But I also appreciate Ethan kind of having more experience and understanding, like, you don't want to give up on this relationship. If he is trying, that's rare. So maybe give it a chance. Yeah. So ultimately the message that I think Ethan is trying to kind of put forth is a good one. And Jack just needing to kind of let go of a lot to really kind of open himself up to that. So that's kind of what we're dealing with this dynamic, because Ethan ends up inviting Mr. McPhee to dinner with them, and they go to kind of this like car show place, and Jack is just kind of annoyed and frustrated, and even not allowing himself to even enjoy the experience because he just thinks it's encroaching on his time with Ethan. He thinks it's his dad just being false with him, and he still wants to hold this kind of grudge. So he's not even allowing himself to enjoy this time, or even see it as anything but his father just trying to show off or something.
Well, what needed to have happened was a conversation between Jack and his dad before this
Yeah.
weekend. And
Yeah.
his dad explained to him, "Well, I'm not going to go on my trip. Let's spend some time together. Let's do all this, and it not be just thrown on him at the last minute through no prior communication is important, and there was
Yeah.
no prior communication,
No,
which
no.
leaves Jack in a position of not having any time whatsoever to sit and actually
To re
think about anything that's going on or
Yeah.
process anything that's going on.
Yeah.
He's literally there for an entire weekend faced with these two people who one wants to spend time with him, the other wants to spend time with him, and he wants to spend time with only one of them. And
Yeah.
it's this very, very awkward situation, and he's not
Yeah.
allowed any time to process it because
Yeah.
where's he going to get the time on his own? He doesn't have any time
Exactly.
on his own.
Exactly. So I think at the end of it all, his dad kind of makes him feel a little bit bad. He's like, "I took this weekend off because I wanted to spend time with you." But then Jack just resents the fact that now his father is playing victim and making him look bad kind of thing. So it's a
Yeah,
very complicated situation, and you do really feel for Jack in terms of kind of the last minute of it, the history with his father. Um, but I do appreciate Ethan kind of, sitting him down and having a real conversation with him to kind of give him that perspective and sharing his experience so that Jack can kind of maybe understand. So I think this is kind of an opening of a door. So it was a very difficult episode for Jack, but I think by the end of it, with Ethan's kind of advice and conversation, it's kind of the opening of a door possibly for him and his father. So I think that's a good thing.
potentially, yes. I mean, it's certainly a
Yeah.
door that I wouldn't mind seeing opened eventually. It's
Yeah.
not the Witter situation where I don't believe that door should ever be opened. I believe that door was closed when Pacey was
Right
probably
back
about
up.
6, and
Yeah.
it should literally never ever be opened up because John Witter's just
Terrible.
literally awful.
Yeah.
Um, but this could, because it's more of a. I suppose Mr. McPhee feels more of a flawed human being as opposed to John Witter's active villain.
Yeah.
And in terms of how characters are framed and what have you, and
Yeah.
things like that. Um, so it's not great for Jack, but
Yeah.
would I want to see a genial relationship between him and his father? Sure, yeah,
Mhm.
but it has to come from genuine heart on both their parts, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I will call out Jack if it doesn't come from a genuine place with him. But
Yeah.
his dad needs to get over the fact that Jack's gay as well. Like, properly just needs to accept it,
Understand it.
acknowledge it,
Yeah.
just understand it.
Yeah.
And not just think it's some sort of odd little phase or what have you, or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Yes, and I
Because
think
it ain't.
I
It's not going to be that way.
exactly, and I think a step towards that as well for Mr. McPhee is meeting Ethan and seeing that this is a cool guy, like, I get
Yeah.
along with him, and and that's somebody my son likes, and so him also familiarizing himself with that dynamic and, like, not having this kind of stigma about gay men and what they act like and what they could be, and, that I could not have anything in common with them and that kind of thing. So at least he gets that kind of perspective to see that, like, this guy is gay and I have so much in common with him. We're having good conversation and good rapport. He loves old cars like me, like we're having a really great time and that kind of thing. So, yeah, I definitely think this is an opening of a door for these characters. So hopefully, we'll see where that goes. But yeah, then we kind
We
of get
will.
a bit of a fun like girls and boys episode. Um, so we get a girls' night and a boys' night kind of thing. So Pacey really trying to that's the advice Doug ultimately gives him. Like, Doug saying, "Yeah, I think Joey probably has feelings for you because why would she react like that?" Which Jen tells Joey
Yep.
kind of the same thing. If it was
Yep.
nothing, why are you so freaked out about it, right? So I think Doug gives him some good advice, but also ultimately says, "Yeah, I think this could work with Joey. I think she might really like you." Um, you know, but I think the biggest thing is you have to tell Dawson. If you
Which
nothing
you
can go
do.
forward with nothing can go forward if you have the Dawson thing looming. So you just need to tell him and then you are free to pursue whatever you want to pursue, you know.
The thing is,
for all
though,
intents and purposes. So,
yes, the thing is,
and
though,
Doug tells him, yeah, take him to a place that reminds him of your
yeah,
friendship, and that's where you tell him, and that's ultimately where they decide to go to the camp out place that you mentioned.
correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But there's such a distinct difference between telling someone something and needing to tell someone something.
Yeah.
And what this should be is just telling someone something. Hi, Dawson. I have feelings for Joey. You know Joey. We all know Joey, obviously. I have feelings for Joey, and we had a kiss, and it's something I'm going to pursue. Okay, that's my decision. You can't change my mind on that. And what this ends up being is Pacey getting in his own head and going, oh dear, what if
Yeah.
Dawson disapproves? This can't possibly happen if Dawson disapproves. I don't know why Dawson's given so much
Yeah.
power, so much psychological
Exactly.
power in this situation.
And he
From
had
either side, from literally both sides, he's given so much psychological power because oh dear, what if Dawson disapproves of my wanting Joey? I'm Pacey. Why does that? He doesn't care. That literally does not matter. You
yes.
want to be with Joey, so just go and do it, and he has to then deal with it himself. It's not on you to make him feel
Exactly.
okay about it. And that's the
And
exact same situation for Joey. Sorry to be ranting and raving again, but
no,
it's
no,
the
no. I
exact same
love this.
situation with Joey. The world will end if Dawson ever finds out this happened, or if I'm allowed to
To
feel
have
the
feelings
feelings I
for you.
actually feel. Because what about Dawson? Literally, with all due respect, who cares about what Dawson feels? It is not your responsibility to make Dawson feel okay. That is Dawson's
Yes.
responsibility to make Dawson feel
Exactly.
okay. And if he can't deal with it, he needs to look at himself again and think where it went wrong. Because we all remember where it went wrong when he put your father in prison.
Exactly, and even after that, there were moments where Joey was willing to get back with him, still had feelings for him, and he rejected her and said, "No, I don't think we should be together. I don't think this is gonna work." So there were moments where he could have gotten back with her had he wanted to, but
I just
then
don't get it. I don't get what's
yes.
so fancy about Dawson.
Yeah, because even in
That
the
everybody
episode
has to protect him.
yes, because even in the episode when it was the dancing episode and they were dancing together, and he
Oh
thought
God.
something was going on then, and he was being very obnoxious about it. And Pacey rightfully said, "Look at that girl. You know, how did you think that like no one else is going to come along and want her? She's amazing." And the next guy who comes around and wants her is not going to be your best friend. So like you better just prepare yourself for the fact that she's probably going to be seeing other guys. And also Joey was very kind of hesitant about the AJ thing, but he didn't seem to care about that. So,
No.
there's a lot of groundwork here for Pacey to have a decent argument for I like her. I'm going to pursue her. Not much you can do about it, but I love you, man. And so this would have been the
That's it.
perfect opportunity to tell him. But yeah, like you said, he builds it up in his head, she builds it up in her head, and ultimately they're at the camp out. I think Pacey's just about to tell him when Buzz and all his friends follow
Yeah.
them there, and it ends up being kind of this big sleepover. Dawson telling scary stories and all kinds of stuff. And
And
they
sure, it
find this
turns fun in that regard. It turns quite
yes,
fun and
yes.
funny and humorous in that
Yeah, they find a
sense. And
time
I like that.
capsule. They find a time capsule, has a picture of the 3 of them and a picture of Joey, and
Yeah.
so then that kind of brings things up, and, uh, Dawson talking about, she was so beautiful even then, and this and all kind of thing, and then, Pacey once again being smacked with the nostalgia of them and letting that get into his head,
Yeah.
and that build up, build up, build up, and ultimately kind of it comes down to, "Oh, what was the thing you wanted to tell me, Pacey? Oh, never mind," kind of thing. So
Yeah.
Pacey
And I'm led.
ultimately doesn't tell him.
I'm led to believe Pacey will be smacked with a lot of Joey Dawson nostalgia in the next episode as well.
Yes, yes, he will, very much. So, and then on the girls' end of things, yeah, they're having this girls' night, they're hanging out. Andy's very enthusiastic about it. And, you know, she brings up Pacey a couple of times, which also is kind of a ping to Joey as well in terms of these
Yeah.
feelings of not wanting to hurt Andy. Because unlike Dawson, who has not made it clear that he has any kind of feeling still for Joey in that way to want to be in a relationship with her, he might still have feelings and always care about her. Oh, I'll always love you, blah, 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 whatever, which is what he
Yeah.
said. There has been no thought of them getting back together or relationship or anything because those opportunities came up and Dawson rejected them, right?
Correct.
But it's different with Andy. Andy broke Pacey's heart and she wants him back. She still has feelings. So on Joey's end, I think there's an understanding of her not wanting to hurt Andy or being worried about what Andy will think because Andy still actively loves and wants to be with Pacey.
And
So
while
that's
I
also
understand that, it was Andy's fault as to why that hasn't continued. So I have no
exactly.
sympathy. Just go with it, Joey.
Yeah, well, I'm saying I understand Joey's hesitation in terms of that aspect of because she actively still has feelings for this person, whereas Pacey and Dawson, I don't understand. You know, yeah, he's my best friend and guy code or whatever, but Dawson doesn't seem to have any kind of relationship aspirations with Joey, and Joey has since dated other people since him. So I would
Yeah.
think this would be the prime moment for him to just be honest with him before anything's happened, before, you know, aside from the kiss, before anything, you know, more substantial has happened. Whereas with Andy, I can understand Joey kind of being worried because of Andy still wanting Pacey. But yes, so kind of in the moments where Andy is out of the room, Jen kind of brings it up. Joey gets very defensive about
Mm.
it. And ultimately, kind of later in the episode, she's able to kind of at least open up a little bit and share her frustrations for, you know, I don't know why he did it. Like it was just, you know, this hormonal imbalance that he just had. And I don't get it. And she's like, well, you seem really upset about this. And I don't think you would be really upset about this if this was for nothing. And so I love Jen just
It's
being
just going to
patient with
be.
her. Yeah. But I love Jen's patience with her. I love Jen just like, hey, you don't have to say anything. I'm not saying I know anything. No one's told me anything. I'm just
Yeah.
going off my observation. And, you know, I think we're in a really good spot in our friendship. So I'm just letting you know if you need somebody who is kind of aware of the fragility of our universe here and the
Mm.
situation, who's not going to judge you, who's just here to listen, I'm here. And so I
Yeah.
love how Jen lays it out for Joey to like just no pressure. I'm here. So I love Jen for that, especially kind of like as I said, like how the relationship was in the past. And so Joey
Definitely.
opens
Look,
up a little bit about it, but is still kind of hesitant to still fully admit anything. But I think Jen gives her some perspective in terms of if you're getting this upset, there's definitely more there. So I think you need to kind of deal with that. So ultimately, we get at the
absolutely.
end of the episode her maybe potentially about to tell Pacey that she feels something. But since Pacey was not bold enough to tell Dawson, and because of her very adverse reaction to him kissing her,
Mm.
he plays it off and says, "Oh, you know, yeah, it was nothing. I shouldn't have done it. I'm sorry. We're just friends." So he kind of stops her from maybe potentially being about to say something because I think he runs into her in the grocery store or something when he's with Buzz. So it's kind of a lot going on. She's maybe about to say something about how she feels, but he immediately kind of just writes it off because of her earlier reaction. And she kind of just watching him walk away and really kind of contemplating and thinking about it is kind of where we end that whole
Yeah.
situation.
I
So,
mean, I think even Buzz at this point says to Pacey, "Hey, is that the
not
girl
the
you
girl.
like?"
Yeah.
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 Like, yes, shut up, Buzz. Basically, yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but this is the thing. I completely agree with you in the realm of Jen and how
Yeah.
she handles this situation. I've had enough annoyance now from this
Whole
situation. I've
situation.
had enough of it. I've had enough of this not telling people your
How we
actual
feel.
how we feel. I get tired of it. And
Okay.
this has happened in the show before. And I just get tired of it because there's only so much I can handle of it.
Okay. You'll be happy. You'll be as happy as me next week. I promise.
I
In next
am
few
aware.
weeks.
I am actually aware of this, which I'm
Okay.
thankful of. But I
Yeah.
don't even want another full episode's worth. And I'm at this point. I'm so deeply annoyed with the dynamic of it all that I'd rather it just not go anywhere now.
Okay, well, now hearing how you feel in this moment, I'm incredibly curious to see how you react to the next 2 episodes because they're gonna push and pull and spin you
I
around a
can't.
little bit.
We don't need push and pull, do we? Things. You know what? Real life is not this. And I've got my glasses in my hand now. Real life is not this complex. And this is what annoys me about it. It tries to pass it off as, I know it's a melodrama, obviously, so everything has to be heightened, and it's a
Yes.
soap opera-ish type of thing. Everything
Yes.
has to be the most extreme version of itself. I get
Yes.
that, obviously. Yes, okay, whatever. But there's a certain believability one must need. There is a certain suspension of disbelief that, given that it's not a fantasy show or some sort of spiritual horror, there's only so much suspension of disbelief I can have.
Yeah.
Before I just start thinking, this isn't now how people actually believe, because people care way less about what everybody else thinks than these people do. They will just do it. And then if there's consequences, they would then be faced with the consequences afterwards, rather than, faffing around the whole situation, going back and forth, going, oh dear, but what about if this happens? But
And
then
what
if
about
that
what
about
this
this
person's
happens, and
gonna think?
scenario
Yeah.
and scenario and scenario and
Yeah.
scenario. And then we have to question what everybody in our lives may think about any decision we make.
Yes.
And it's not that deep. It's just not that deep. Nothing's that deep.
Well, on Dawson's Creek, it's very deep. It's a fragile universe that will implode if Dawson knows about feelings. So, yes.
Honestly, if I do
Hopefully,
not see Satan himself riding on winged serpents in the next episode, Joey will have overreacted.
Okay. Well, we're gonna watch a little promo. We're gonna have a fun reaction to a promo of what's gonna be happening in the next episodes. So I'm curious. You feeling like this way now? I'm really curious to see how you feel after these 2 episodes. Because
Yes.
there's a lot that goes on. But
I
also maybe a
enjoy
lot that
Dawson's
might.
Creek, the show, Jeannine.
Yes, I
I
mean you're
enjoy
very much like
Dawson's Creek a bit.
Joey. You're only getting frustrated because you care. Because you do have
Yes.
feelings for Dawson's
Yes.
Creek.
Yes. But I, unlike Joey, I'm able to say what I mean.
Yes. I appreciate you not being defensive about your feelings for Dawson's Creek.
I don't have to. I can actively dislike certain elements of it and still like the show.
Yes.
And I think
Yes, of
that is the
course.
case. And I think that's the nature of the style of television it is. That's not
Yeah.
Dawson's Creek specific. That is
Yeah.
the soap opera teen drama element
Of that time,
what
of the
it has
90s,
to
early
be.
2000s.
Yeah,
Yes, that was the energy of
that's
TV. So,
it,
and it
it's what it
sucked
has
people
to be,
in.
because
It's
it's the genre. And if it wasn't that, then
wouldn't.
it would feel like a fully functioning show. It would
Yes, this
feel
is what it
show.
was. This is what it was. You went into it knowing that this is what it was. So, yeah,
Yeah,
you're going to get these kind of silly pushes and pulls and long, awaited things, happening and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think we've pretty much discussed everything except the little bit of the
w-
Henry birthday situation, and I think that's kind of where
we
the
don't
last thing that
we don't
needs to
need
be
to even discuss
discussed. I
anything
mean,
about that. It's just weird, isn't it? Henry has a
yeah,
child's birthday party because he's forced by his parents to have a child's birthday party, and he doesn't want
yes.
to invite Jen to it because he's embarrassed. That's the entire story. Number one argument: don't have a child's birthday party, then you don't have to. And
Yeah,
number
he's
two
like, "I
argument: if you
prom."
do have to have a child's birthday party, still invite your girlfriend to it and then just explain to her, my parents wanted this as one last one. And everybody goes, okay, let's smack a piñata then. It's fine. It's not that deep, Henry.
Yeah, he's very much, because I think he just has this worry, you know, Jen's already an older girl, so it's like, I don't want you to see me as this little kid kind of thing, and the fact that she stumbles upon
Stop
it.
behaving like one then.
Because he's being really kind of shady about it.
I would have a piñata at a birthday party.
Now.
I would play a game of musical
I mean,
bumps.
I would have a
very
party at
fun.
at the roller skating rink. It would be a fun nostalgia birthday.
Exactly.
I would say,
absolutely. It'd be it'd be wonderful. Let's play
Yes.
party games, have sing-alongs, and everybody eat cake. Brilliant.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, it looked like
yes,
a pretty
okay,
fun
there'd be
birthday.
drinking involved. Yes, but everybody eat cake. Absolutely perfect. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I would not, you know, I would not actively not invite my girlfriend because of the embarrassment of it. It would be silly.
Yeah.
She's your girlfriend, Henry. Invite
Just
her to your birthday party.
Yes, and the fact that you so
You
easily
weirdo.
were able to tell her the truth about, oh, my parents my mom wanted me to do this one last time. I told her this was the last time we were doing this kind of party. So you could easily explain to her the why, but he's been kind of squirrely and weird, and and I guess I get a bit of Henry's hesitation in terms of, because Jen has been very wishy-washy with him. So I kind of maybe
at this point I don't. At this point, after Jen's whole, I've not been in the show for 2 episodes because I've been spending so much time with Henry. I don't get it anymore. I would have got it 4 episodes ago.
Well, I mean, so yeah, I guess there's still this looming fear that like anything I do is going to make this amazing girl dump me, because she's all over the place kind of thing. But yes, I guess it's a very good point. Like, they've seemingly been spending a ton of time together, so there should be a point where he should just be able to understand, okay, she's in this. She's not going to be jerking me around again. She likes me. I shouldn't be worried that any little thing I do is going to send her running for the hills, but he seems to still be kind of in that headspace. So, yeah.
I actively miss playing musical chairs and musical statues.
I mean, that would be so fun. Yes. It looked like a fun party.
Imagine a bunch of fully fledged adults playing musical chairs.
So aggressive. It would get violent, because I've seen, I think, games like that. Yeah. Yes. It would get very, like, evilly competitive. But yes.
Really aggressive. It'd be great. I think we should do that.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay. Make a plan.
Play. Yeah, you'd have to play all the same songs that would be played at that time as well. Maybe they were different given what era you were a child in.
That's true. Oh my gosh.
Cotton Eye Joe would be a popular one for me when I was a child. Not popular by me, but it would just be.
I know. I think that was in the rotation as well.
Would play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Nobody can listen to that for too long. No, I don't think
it's a lot. But yeah, it would be very aggressive in adulthood. But yes, that looked like a very fun party, Henry. I don't know why you felt like you needed to lie about it, but yeah. So those were the 2 episodes that are just very much like, I'm just waiting to get past these to the next 2.
Yeah.
So
yeah. We'll get there. We will get there. It is the next episode of Discovering Dawson's Creek, Jeannine, will be Stolen Kisses and The Longest Day. Those 2 episodes you have been thoroughly looking forward to discussing on this show. Since the beginning of Discovering Dawson's Creek, I think all that long time ago. Exciting times. Good show today, of course. Subscribe, ding your notification bell on this YouTube channel. Currently, this show alternates every Monday on Morgan Hasn't Seen TV with Talking Ted Lasso, which we are very much coming to the end of in the next few episodes of that. Before starting a new show over there in the rotation. Of course, subscribe to the main podcast feed as well. It's a wonderful podcast wherever you get your podcasts on all major platforms. For the main show, It's a Wonderful Podcast, celebrating old movies every Friday. This show's parent show, Morgan Hasn't Seen movie version. And if you want to leave your ratings over there, leave your reviews and comments and things like that, do it on this episode as well. Leave your comments and your likes and everything like that as well. If you want to support us on Patreon or donate, there are links in the description for you to do that. Or, of course, social media, which has been scrolling down at the bottom. All episode long, you can find that at those little ats down there, and links in the description as well. Which leaves us only one thing left to do, Jeannine, and I think, well, there's no whiny situation. So, in your finest Jonathan Lipnicki as a 9-year-old, please take it.
Oh my God.
3, 2, 1.
Bye.